David, a self-made millionaire, stood at the pinnacle of his career, yet his heart felt like an empty vault. 18 years ago, he made the biggest mistake of his life. He divorced Amelia, the woman who had been his rock, his inspiration, his everything. The pressures of his burgeoning empire had created a chasm between them. He thought letting her go was the only way to protect her from the ruthless world he inhabited. What he didn't know was that when Amelia walked away, she carried a part of him with her, their unborn child. Amelia had built a new life, a quiet one, far from the glitz and glamour David chased. Her world revolved around their son Leo. He was her universe, a bright, talented young man with his father's ambition and his mother's kind heart. She never told David about Leo, believing it was the best way to shield her son from the heartache and complexity of his father's life. She watched David from afar, seeing his face on magazine covers, his name in headlines, always feeling a pang of what could have been. For 18 years, their worlds ran on parallel tracks, destined never to cross. Until one day, they collided with the force of a freight train. Leo, a gifted artist, had earned a once-in-a-lifetime scholarship to a prestigious art academy in Paris. It was his dream, the culmination of years of hard work, but a sudden devastating illness struck Amelia. The medical bills began to pile up, an insurmountable mountain of debt that threatened to swallow their savings and crush Leo's dream. With no other options, her back against the wall, Amelia did the one thing she swore she would never do. She picked up the phone and dialed a number she had long since memorized. David was in the middle of a high-stakes board meeting when his private line rang. An unknown number. He almost ignored it, but something compelled him to answer. "Hello?" he said, his voice clipped and impatient. "David ... It's Amelia?" The world stopped. Her voice, a ghost from his past, was a melody he thought he'd never hear again. It was softer, strained with worry, but it was unmistakably hers. "Amelia, is everything all right?" Hesitantly, she explained the situation, her illness, the mounting bills, and Leo's scholarship hanging in the balance. But she left out one crucial detail, that Leo was his son. She was asking for a loan, a business transaction, not a plea for a reunion. Without a second thought, David agreed. "I'll transfer the money, but I'm coming to see you, Amelia. We need to talk." He canceled the rest of his day, his business empire suddenly seeming insignificant. He had to see her. When David arrived at Amelia's modest but warm home, the past and present converged. Seeing her again older, her face etched with worry, but still as beautiful as he remembered, made his heart ache with regret. He had spent years building a fortune, but he had lost his greatest treasure. As they talked, a young man walked into the room. He had David's eyes, his jawline, his confident posture. David stared, his mind racing, connecting the dots. "Amelia, who is this?" Amelia's eyes filled with tears. "David, this is Leo, our son." The revelation hit David like a physical blow. A son. He had a son. For 18 years, he had been a father without even knowing it. An avalanche of emotions washed over him: shock, anger, regret, but above all, an overwhelming sense of love for the boy standing before him. He looked at Leo, a stranger who was his own flesh and blood, and saw a reflection of himself in the woman he'd never stopped loving. David didn't hesitate. He not only covered all of Amelia's medical expenses with the best care money could buy, but he also resolved to do much more. He wanted to be a father to Leo, to make up for lost time. It wasn't easy. Leo was wary of this stranger who had suddenly appeared in his life, and Amelia was guarded, afraid of being hurt again. But David was persistent. He started slowly, showing up for Leo not as a millionaire, but as a father. He attended his art shows, listened to his dreams, and shared stories of his own struggles and triumphs. He didn't try to buy his son's affection, but to earn his trust. He showed Amelia that he had changed, that the man who had prioritized work over love was gone, replaced by a man who now understood what truly mattered. He saw the family he had thrown away and was determined to rebuild it. He supported Leo's journey to Paris, not just financially, but with genuine pride and encouragement. He took care of Amelia, ensuring she had everything she needed to recover, surrounding her with the love and security he had failed to provide all those years ago. Slowly, the ice began to thaw. Leo started to see the father he never knew he had, and Amelia saw a glimpse of the man she had first fallen in love with, now tempered with maturity and regret. Their broken family began to heal, piece by piece. One evening, as Amelia was recovering, David sat by her side. "I was a fool, Amelia," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I spent 18 years building an empire, but my life was empty without you and Leo. Can you the damn we try again? Not for what we were, but for what we could be." Amelia looked at him, then at a picture of Leo, and a small smile touched her lips. Their journey was far from over, but for the first time in a long time, the future looked bright. It wasn't about the money or the empire. It was about a second chance at family, a second chance at love, and the precious discovery that the greatest wealth in life isn't what you have, but who you have beside you. The millionaire had finally found his true treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content. See you next time.